Now, let's say you have yourself right now as you speak 8 million and you're contemplating, should I go ahead and buy myself a home or should I go ahead and continue renting for a little bit of a period of time, and then what exactly is giving you value for your money? And guess what? This is Good Joseph, and I love talking practical things about investment, making money, investing, and anything related to that. If you're watching me for the first time, then go ahead and hit that like button. Make sure that you subscribe. Why? Because you'll be notified by a whole YouTube when I upload a new good video. And leave me a comment on the comment section. You can agree with me, you can disagree with me, but just leave a question on the comment section if you'd like me to address a specific question. Today we're talking about you having that 8 million somewhere, you're looking forward into buying a home, or should you go the renting way? By the way, let me tell you one secret what I've come to realize when it comes to the finances. It is good first of all to unlearn that what you learned for you to relearn and get something new. All right, let's get into the business now. Here we are. Okay, when it comes to either buying a home or renting it, or in any way owning a home or having a home, is quite of a very emotive issue. Probably, I know I'm looking forward to you saying, hey Michael Joseph, you should. No, let's get into the business now. Here we are. You have a budget of 8 billion. Should you rent? Should you buy? I've actually drawn two parallel things and check out what gives you value for your money. Let's start with buying, obviously. See, if you go the buying way, it's quite simple. You simply take your 8 million, go purchase that property that you've seen that's so good, and boom, voila, you are now a home owner. You know, that comes to stability and what have you, and you're so happy about it. Okay, now what exact other taxes or other deductions that will be made there? Okay, number one, the property tax, you have to pay that, and that is not only where I live, it's all over the world. And that's actually, let's say you spend around 15,000 paying for that property tax. Two, insurance comes hand in hand with it, which is another 15,000, likely of the same. Then the maintenance. Now this is where most of the people now don't get to understand. See, owning a home is not an investment, it's a liability. Why is it a liability? Because you pay to live there. Okay, let me explain. Do you know you pay to live there? How do you pay it? Let's say there is sort of what we call landscaping. You need to do some painting. You need to do some renovations. Let's say, for example, you're living in a one bedroom, you're renting somewhere, and then all of a sudden you have the money, you go build. Let's say in approximately how many bulbs do you have in your home when you say living in a one bedroom? Maybe like 4 or 5. And then the moment you build your own home, you're going to have security lights. You're going to have some, I don't know how many rooms do you have and what have you. I mean, like, you have a lot of moving parts when you own a home. I mean, you pay to live there. That's for a fact. By the way, and most of the people don't even do those mathematics. I understand it comes with comfort. I personally love to own a home. It's great. I support it 100% sure. But let's just be honest with each other. You pay to live there. True or not true? Yes, there's some of the deduction that you have to. Some of you guys, you employ, let's say, somebody who is actually helping you in one thing or the other there. Time to time, you'll actually be calling some guys to repair some things. Maybe something has broken there. You get what I'm saying? There is a moving parts in that particular owning a home, okay? And this maintenance, again, it depends. And I've given it a budget of approximately 100K that you set is aside for a whole year if you want to renovate here and there. At times you may not use that amount of money, and at times you may use more than that amount of money. Let's just put it aside. That is the money that you pay in, say, in an year for you to maintain that particular place. Let's say, for example, you go buy a property, an apartment. You see, if you buy an apartment, let's say you buy with 8 million, will get you in Kenya, may not really get you a good 2 bedroom. Maybe let's talk of 10 million or something will get you a 2 bedroom. But again, there are some places where you can buy with that amount of money. I'm talking about the posh areas like of the Kilimani, not really posh per se. Let me just say leafy, places like Kilimani, Kileleshwa, whatever. You can actually, like, okay, let's say you are lucky, you get a 2 bedroom with 8 million. There is always that service fee that you have to pay and what have you. All right, probably this talk of 6,000 around there. So if you multiply that by year, it's actually adding up close to 100,000. Are we together? Okay, for those who own apartments can actually relate to this. Now, the total maintenance or the total expenses in that particular year, I'm giving it at around, in 8 years, that is, giving it around 1.2 million. So if you take a whole year, how much you're going to spend in that particular year, and then you total that for the next 8 years, because obviously, by the way, why am I using in 8 years? I want us to do a very simple mathematics. I want us to purchase this property or compare it with renting this property for the next 8 years and see who got value value for your money for the next 8 years. Now, for the next 8 years, you're going to use approximately 1.2 million or thereabout, or sometimes even more when it comes to the maintenance, 1, 2, 3 here and there. Okay. Now, that means after 8 years, what you're going to end up with is around 9.2 million. The 8 million that you bought, the 1.2 million that you've actually used in terms of what do we call it, in terms of the maintenance and what have you. So you're actually spending 9.2 million at that period of time. Are we together up to that particular point? Now, the point is this, of course, I know you're talking about, hey, but it appreciates and what have you. How many of you watching this video have done the research as far as the real estate is concerned in Kenya? By the way, they are saying that it's actually going a little bit way down, and some properties in terms of the land actually they're the ones that are going a little bit high. Lands in Kenya appreciates at a rate of 7%. Around that rate, 7 to 8 to 9%. That's the rate at which they appreciate. And I don't know whether you know this. Do you know the rental income appreciate at a very, very significant rate? And if you want to know whatever I'm talking about, whether it's true, let me ask a very simple question. Where you live right now, how much do you pay per month? Okay, let's say you pay 5,000 or 10,000 or 15,000. When was the last time the rent was increased? Do you know you can live in a property here in Kenya that you're paying, say, 15,000, and you can live in that particular place for even over 5 years and the rent is still remaining the same? So what is the appreciation there? So most of the time, structures do not appreciate. Actually, what appreciates mostly is the land. Okay, some of you may not agree, but that's true. For those who have been trying to buy properties and what have you, people usually calculate the land prices, not really the structure there, because even the structure is there. For example, personally, I don't love buying a property where you find a structure already there, because probably the structure that is there is not the structure that you would love and what have you, blah, blah, blah. So anyway, the point is, let's give it an average of, say, 5%. This structure or this property or this home is appreciating at a rate of 5%. And guess what? I'm so generous giving that rate out there. So it's appreciating at a rate of 5%. Are we together up to that particular point? So at the end of the 8 years period, you're going to have yourself approximately 10.3 million. If you were to resell that particular structure or that particular property, you'll actually get yourself around 10.3 million or something of sort, okay, after 8 years. Now the question is, you're spending 9.2, now there you're ending up with around 10.3 or so. Let me say it's at 11 million or something of sort. So if you do the deductions between the 10.3 minus the 9.2, approximately you're talking about a mic or a million or thereabout, okay? That is exactly what you get. But I'm actually been generous. I'm giving it at around 1.8 million to 1.9 billion. Let me just giving it at around that particular amount of money, of which I'm way generous, assuming if you were to resell that structure. Okay, now let's go to the side of the renting. But before you go to the side of renting, don't crucify me on the comment section. Be like, oh my God, non Joseph doesn't. Sometimes you can't even sell at 20 million. Let me tell you one secret. Something can happen. Maybe a highway has been built next to your home or something, but that is not always the cases. I'm giving it at an average, what do we call the common happenings that is out there. All right, this is typically what you get. But let me just say something that just happened. Oil has been discovered underground, below your roof or below your house and whatever. I mean, those are special cases whereby the land or that property can actually appreciate at a very high rate. Okay, now let's go to the side of the renting. Okay, now it is you to make a decision which one you can go for. Now if you go the renting way, let's even say you decide to rent a home worth, say, 40,000, because you have a family. Of course you need a privacy. In Kenya, by the way, let me tell you one thing. In Kenya, approximately 1 bedroom will cost you around 15,000. 2 bedroom will cost you around 23,000, and I'm talking quite of a decent place. 23,000 2 bedroom. That means 3 bedroom will cost you upwards of 30,000. So I'm setting aside 40,000. I just tell you, each and every month, take 40,000 rent. With 40,000 in Kenya, you can get an own compound. Well, of course, not in Runda and Keren and what have you, but you can actually get variety of places that are quite, what we call, our own compound with that amount of money of 40,000. Are we together? Okay. And even if you do not go the our own compound thing, you can actually go. If 40,000 in Kenya, seriously, you can get yourself like even 2-3 bedrooms or 4 bedrooms or something of sort. You can get quite of a good place. But of course, I'm not talking about posh and elegant areas, because some of you guys will tell me in the comment section, but in Runa it cost 400,000. Come on, that's not what I'm talking about. Okay. Now let's say you set aside 40,000 each and every month for the purposes of renting. Are we together? So if you were to rent for the next 8 years, okay, let's say if you were to rent for a whole year, it will cost you 480,000. 40,000 multiplied by 12, it's 480,000. So you need 480,000 for the rent for an entire year. Yeah, I know that sounds like, that's a lot of money. Anyway, just hang on. Do you know how much that will cost you? 40,000 or 480,000 multiplied by 8 years will cost you around 3.84 million. That is what you need to set aside for the purposes of renting. And I said, give these two separate people, a period of 8 years. So this guy decides, I have 8 million and I want to buy a home, but I ain't gonna buy a home. I'm not gonna go ahead and do what? A rent. And I'm gonna take out 3.84 million for the purposes of renting. So you set aside that 3.8 million for the purposes of renting. And this is how you do it. You take 3.8 million. Of course, you take like for the month that you're actually paying your rent. Then the rest of the money, you throw it in a money market fund. Come on. I don't know that you're getting what I'm saying. You have calculated you need 3.8 million for the purposes of what? For the purposes of rent. But now what you do, you don't take the entire money. I'm actually taking my calculator to calculate here. You don't take the entire amount of the money to actually do what? To pay the rent upfront. No, you don't do that. That is not smart. What I want you to do is to go ahead and take that extra. Maybe you can take a rent for, say, 5 months. If you can take rent for, say, 5 months out of this, that is 40 times 5. 40,000 times 5, that's like 200,000. 200,000, you'll be remaining with 3.6. You take that 3.6 million, you throw it in a money market fund. Don't forget, money market fund gives you interest each and every month, and they compound monthly. So you're actually starting with, take your pen and paper and calculator, because when it comes to numbers, don't lie. So you have yourself 3.6 million, okay? Now, 3.6 million, are we together? That is what you're throwing in a money market fund. And guess for how long you're throwing it? You can even throw it in a period of, say, 1 year or something or sort. But of course, not 1 year. But let's say you even throw it for a period of 1 year. That's not even worth even calculating. If you're getting approximately 12% of 3.6 million, 10% of 3.6 million, that's around 36,000. Add a little bit on top of there. You're getting how much? You get, talk of about roughly 40 million. That's what you're getting out of this amount of money. 40,000, not 40 million. 40,000 is what you're getting. Now with 40,000, can you imagine this? If you take 5 years, or rather 5 months, you pay the rent. So for the next 5 months, you pay your rent. Now 3.6 million, you throw it in a money market fund, will be giving you approximately 40,000. Can you imagine this? Now the 6th month, the 40,000 is available. The 7th month, the 40,000 is available. And remember, you're not getting that 40,000. You're plowing it back. So meaning the 7th month, the 7th month of literally is your 2nd month, you're getting more than 40,000. So by the time now you need to pay rent for the next 5 months, you already have paid the rent. Are we together? And you still have your cash there, the 3-point-something million. It is still in your account. So, and then you wait for another period of time. And then, do you know you can actually play with this amount of money? You can actually end up paying the entire rent of the 8 years, and you still remain with this amount of money, or approximately about this kind of amount of money. I don't know you guys, you're getting what I'm talking about. You have taken 200,000, you are remaining with 3.6. The 3.6, you throw it in a money market fund. If you throw it in a money market fund, 3.6 is approximately of 12%. It's giving you a roughly 40,000. That means you are living the month 1, month 2, month 3, month 4, month 5 without paying the rent because you paid it upfront. But in those 5 months, you are getting an average of another 40, 40, 40, 40. That means you can actually pay for another 5 months without even still touching your 3.6 million. Hello? Am I making sense? That means you're going to live another 5 months and still 3.6 will still be there. Meaning you can actually end the period of 8 years and still have your 3.6 million. Are we together? Now, remember one thing. We only deducted 3.8 million from 8 million. So we are remaining with 4.16. Are we together? We still have another money. Now, this 4.16, we throw it in a what? In a money market fund. This one, we are not taking anything. We are not deducting anything. So the 4.16, throw it in a money market fund, giving you an average of 12%. You're going to end up with around 10.4 million in a period of 8 years. And don't forget, we still have our 3.6. So if you were to add 3.6 here, we actually around 14 million. We're going to have ourselves approximately of 14 million in that period of 8 years. Are we together? Now, the question is this. After 8 years, this person has actually decided to sell the property. You're getting around you're getting around a difference of what, 1.8 million. And I remember I was actually a bit generous here, and see how much you're getting here. You're actually getting approximately 6.5 million, and actually 6.6 million, and plus whatever you've actually gained of whatever you are to use for your rent, that is around 3.6. You're actually talking about the language of over 10 million or close to 10 million. That is what you're getting as a return here. So here you are ending up with all the entire cash of your money. And by the way, you can even decide to do this. You can even decide in the period of 8 years, whatever you are getting as your rebates, you can decide even to actualize owning your home at a time, slowly and slowly and slowly. So this is exactly what you're ending up with. You're getting more value compared to you renting. And guess what? This comes with, doesn't have a lot of moving parts. There is no maintenance, there is no nothing. It's just relaxing and all those kind of things. So the point is this: it depends. Maybe if you're watching this video in your 50s or 60s, probably renting may not be the best thing I can advise you to go for anyway, unless maybe you're facing a cash crunch. If you on a cash crunch, like it's the only money that you have, maybe say probably you went to retire for a retire like less than last month, is the only money that you have in your pocket, and of course you need to eat, drink, and all. Probably you can decide to go this route. Okay. Or let's say you have the cash flow, you are okay, cash flow is not an issue to you, just go ahead and build, okay? Or maybe buy a property. Don't have go all these stresses. I'm talking about the young guys who get this amount of money, and of course you feel like you want to rush into getting that amount of money. If you want to rush into owning a home, because it comes with stability, comes with comfort, the pride and what have you. So it's you to decide which one actually you can go for between these. Again, the age here determines two factors here determine. Number one, the age. Two, another factor that I would say you consider it before making a decision is your what do you call the financial status. If you're okay with money, it's okay. Go ahead and build your home as early as you can. Even if you're at your 20s and you have the ability, just build it anyway, okay? Or if you realize that, yeah, you're young, you have the cash, but you're caught in between, you don't know what you can be able to do with that cash, you can actually go ahead and rent, and you can be able to invest that money in other areas and be able to earn something. So with that amount of money, that is 8 million, is actually enough to pay you the rent the rest of your life, and you can think what you can do with the rest of the cash. It's a simple start. Are we together? So you can decide to maybe use that. But by the way, do you know what? You can even decide to be building with the rebates that you're getting from these investments, and you can end up with the home and still at the same time end up with that amount of money. Anyway, this is Good Joseph. What I do is to make videos pertaining to these investments, sharing ideas on what you can be able to do. Leave me a comment on the comment section. Tell me what you think about what I've presented out there. All right, see you there. By the way, don't forget, if you'd like to have my services or get a contact with me, my number is always on the description of this specific video. Thanks, and see you in the next one.